Make this Afghan eggplant recipe with me called Borani Banjan. You're first going to start off by cutting the eggplant in half, and then you're just going to cut the ends off and basically just going to cut the eggplant into strips. You can peel it if you want, but I usually don't peel it. There's barely any skin that is going to come on anyway. Ideally, you're going to want to get the slices as uniform as possible. Some of mine were thicker and some of mine were thinner, but it doesn't make a huge difference, but ideally you want them uniform. Then you're going to place all of your sliced up eggplant in a tray that has been lined with paper towels. You're going to basically be sweating your eggplants. You add a little bit of salt to them so that it pulls the water out of them. And you'll see as I put this paper towel on top just instantly how moist it gets. You're going to wait 30 to 60 minutes and you'll see that the towels are going to end up being soaking wet, and you're basically really wanting to take that moisture out of the eggplant. So once that 30 to 60 minutes is up, I'm heating up a very large cast iron skillet here just because I have a lot of eggplant and it's quicker that way, but you can use a smaller pan if you want. Just keep in mind that it's going to take longer to fry up your eggplant. So basically in batches, I'm frying up in some oil each of the strips of eggplant on each side. I think I fried them for 3 to 4 minutes. And what you're really looking for is a nice brown color like you see here. So I've just flipped these, and at the end, once you're done frying all of them, this is what your completed fried eggplant is going to look like. So that was step one. Now on to step two. In a wide dish, you're going to heat up a 1/4 cup of oil, add 2 tablespoons of garlic puree and 1 teaspoon of ginger puree. You're going to add a diced up tomato. It doesn't have to be perfect because these are going to cook down quite a bit. And my exact measurements for everything is listed in the captions, just so you know. I'm just letting the tomatoes heat up and fry for about 5 minutes. Once they've started to cook down a bit, I'm gonna add all of my seasonings here, and I'm gonna mix them together so that they can toast up and become incorporated to the tomatoes very well. And once these cook together for a few minutes, it was gonna look something like this. And you're just going to want to smash some of the tomatoes with the back of your spoon. And now I'm adding some roughly chopped bell pepper and some jalapenos. Usually I keep these in strips, but these were just very large, so I cut them in half after I cut them in strips. You're going to want to mix these together with the tomato mixture and let them cook down for about 5 minutes. At this point, I'm going to add all of my fried eggplant into this mixture, and you're just going to put them on top and then sort of nestle them into the mixture so that they start to soak up some of that like tomato goodness. As you'll notice, when it starts to cook, a lot of like juices and moisture will be released from the vegetables. But this is what it looks like. I'm just going to mix it up a tad before I put the lid on and let it cook on low to medium heat for about 5 minutes. Once those 5 minutes are up, I'm just going to open the lid and mix everything together. Make sure nothing is sticking to the bottom. Keep in mind, we're not adding any water to this dish. So it's really just all the moisture is coming from the vegetables itself. So you have to pay attention to make sure that nothing burns. And because we're not adding water, the tomato flavor is very concentrated. But as I'm mixing this together, I am making sure to scrape the bottom as you see, and I'm going to cover it again for another 5 minutes. When those 5 minutes are up, my bell peppers and jalapenos will be tender, and this is what it looks like. So to serve, this is served on top of some thinned out yogurt, and in the yogurt is salt, pepper, a little bit of garlic powder, and some dried mint. Crushed dried mint. You're going to spread that out on your plate and then add the Borani Banjan on top, and yeah, that's basically how it's eaten. At the end, it is garnished with more dried mint on top, as well as ideally half of a bunch of chopped up cilantro, but the grocery store didn't have any cilantro today, which is why my recipe doesn't have it, but it will be included in the caption. Also optional would be to top it off with some fenugreek leaves, but bon appetit.